Hi, welcome to Erica Reacts. I actually live streamed this entire 30-minute video to Twitch, but unfortunately, none of my reactions saved. However, I'm going to summarize what I thought so that it'll be a lot shorter than having to watch all 30 minutes again. And I'll just play like prominent clips. So to give some background, I've never heard Goose before. I just started listening to jam bands about 6 months ago when somehow I discovered Phish. It's a long story. You can watch my lore videos. And then people have been mentioning Goose to me in the jam band community. And then this week I interviewed this girl who is like a groupie of Goose, and she basically travels around to all their shows, and she's going to follow them on tour this summer. And so then she recommended that I listen to this particular set to get an idea of the band. And so what I realized is this first song, I thought was very commercial. It sounded just like, I don't know, Coldplay or some kind of other rock band. It wasn't anything crazy. I had noted that their drummer wears a Davy Crockett hat. My other observation was that they just look like hipsters from Silver Lake or Brooklyn or something, you know? So they look like they should be rock stars. Like, that's kind of the vibe. They got that, like, hipster musician aesthetic. Okay, so that first song, I was like, it's okay. It's like... Summer's up in I like that they're harmonizing. It's pretty. They have pretty good voices, and it's, like, good vibes. But I was like, okay, it's likable. I'm sure a lot of people could like that song. I didn't think it was anything like, oh my God, this has changed the world, okay? But then I heard the second song. It started around here. Okay, and immediately when this started, I was like, oh, I like this one better. So yeah, the actual song is kind of bluesy rock, which was fine. It just reminded me of some other songs. It sounds a lot like a lot of things. Like I was like, oh, that kind of sounds like that famous song, and it sounds like that famous song, but it's good. I mean, they sing well. Like I said, I really recorded like an hour-long video, and then it got deleted. So I was very upset. This is like the summary of what I just said, which is more concise. Some people want that anyway. They are great musicians. I like the quality of the tone of their guitars and etc. The bass, everything sounds good. The drum. Now, I actually really did like their jam. I did. I liked it. So in the beginning, they started with a nice guitar solo, but they're showing the wrong person. They're showing the keyboard. By the way, I like that the keyboardist also played guitar. So yeah, it starts with a nice guitar solo. Okay, then we get into the jam. So the way they structure it is that they first start with like... They kind of start with these little cells, okay? So the cells are these little pieces of music, like 4 repeating notes that they do over and over and over again. And I recognize many cells throughout this jam. Like, I'll try to find a few to show you an example. That da 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 da. Okay. So by the way, they started really quietly. They started more sparse. Everything was kind of out in the open. They weren't layering so much. They were kind of just more open harmony. Like it wasn't just, they're not like, okay, it was just like, do, 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 okay, barely anything. That's what they're doing there. Da, 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 da. So that's E, B flat, B natural, B. Da, 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 E, D, G sharp. Da, 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 B flat, B. Okay, here's the part where they start to use the lights to show the building dissonance. Because like I said, it started out with these little da-da-da-da-da-da little parts, everyone doing their own little thing, but they weren't clashing yet. They're kind of just taking turns, yeah? So now everything starts to build, and so do the lights. The drum is getting more aggressive, the drums. The bass is getting more driving. We're getting that distortion pedal on the guitar. Again, a four note chromatic cell. See that? Okay, then this part got really quiet. Little weird electronic sounds there. Dun, 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 dun. B flat, A flat. Another descending chromatic cell. More chromatic. Okay, now we're getting a lot of dissonance. Okay, they're layering with each other, but it's a cacophony. The harmonies are not making sonorous sound. They are clashing and making wavelengths that clash with each other. Even the drum's rhythm is a little bit unsettling because he's not doing like an even like 4. He's kind of doing like da 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 da, da and then sometimes do, 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 like it's like off. See, it's almost like in 7 or something because you can go like 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2. That's one way to split 8, so it sounds like 3 3 2. You can also actually have like 1 2 3 4 1 2 3. You can also have 5 1 2 3 1 2, and that always sounds interesting too. Yeah, lots of distortion on those guitars. You hear the da 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 on the top, but it's with like the distortion almost gives it like a vibrato, like that. Dun 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 dun, descending scale. Dun 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 dun. There it is. Dun, 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 dun. Bass is going wild. The bass is actually pretty not dissonant, but it's doing a really cool thing. Weird pedal flip. See a new effect on the guitar. Or maybe that's a synthesizer. It's definitely a weird effect though. That's a sound that's like very like tick, 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 like if you had the guitar string is you hear a lot of string in it and the tick, tick, tick. Yes. So everything's really building now. So then at this point, everything just really builds big until the end. And they have this like huge ending. And they structured it so quiet at first that like the build really, you really feel it once they get there because you're like, whoa, this is powerful. Hear that chord progression. Okay, now the bass line is ascending. There's the high note. High B. The guitar melody got up to that. Da, 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 da. By the way, nice light effect right here. Like, pretty good with the, like, the aggression. I'm like, I can't look at it. It's like a stroke, you know? That's what they're playing. Bass is very normal. Da 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 da. Back to a regular rock song. Da 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 da. Da, da, da. They love this chromatic scale on whole. Da, 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 da. Let's make it in twos. Okay, so they did theirs. They went da, da. That's just a da, 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 da. So G to a whole step to a half step to a half step. So they did that, and then they did dun, 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 dun. Same thing. So most of this jam was based on these little cells. And by cell, again, I mean a series of notes that repeats over and over again. That then it gets iterated and then transposed, flipped, reversed, all that. This is all cells. But the thing that was keeping this jam kind of settled towards the end was that the bass line went back to a very normal rock bass. It was very tonal. And then you got to hear that guitar sing. Okay. So the guitar was like reaching this climax, like the high note, right? It was like getting up there. So I thought that was cool. Okay. So I recorded this all, like I said, it all got erased. It was like an hour long. I'm a little bit upset about it, but I'm just going to move on with my life and make better choices next time about my streaming software. So here's what I said. I said, well, how do I compare Goose to Phish? Okay. To me, they are very different. What they have in common is that they have a jam. So they did do both a jam and they both have light shows. The actual content and the origin, almost like Phish to me is a bunch of weird, quirky, spectrum-y guys who happen to just be like, let's do weird stuff. And then that weird stuff just worked and they were like really experimental and whatever. And then they also have jams, right? This band is like commercial rock stars because the songs I heard, now fans come after me in the comments or don't, either tell me that these two, I'm talking about not the jam part of these songs, but the first song wasn't even a jam. It was just like a straight up song, like a top 40 hit. It wasn't really top 40, but it sounded like it could be a rock song that is pretty standard. And again, don't come after me. I'm not going to talk about, this is not about the jam. This is not about any, I love the jam. Okay, I'm not talking the jam. The actual song, the first song, could be Coldplay, could be Everclear, could be Nickelback, could be just like a regular rock band, okay? Like commercial rock band. It was just very, there wasn't anything about it that I was like, wow, I want to listen to that again, okay? But what they have right, what I think Goose has people in it that for today's aesthetic, they look like hipsters, hipster hippies out of Silver Lake, if you were to live in LA, or in New York, you'd live in Brooklyn, okay? So they just look like the hipster guys, like with the cool fashion. They look like rock stars in that sense. If you saw them all four eating in a diner, you'd be like, hey, are you guys like rock stars? That's what they look like. So they look like rock stars. They play, at least for the two songs I heard pre-jam, their songs sound like standard rock songs. Nothing crazy. The content is standard. The words are standard. The chord progressions are standard. Now, I think they're talented. I think they're more talented than most. Though anyone who's made it as like a tour guitarist, anyone who plays on tour or studio records for other people, they got to be so good. Like you got to be so good to be at the level to either be someone's guitarist on tour. Let's say you're not part of their band, like you go on tour with like Beyonce or something. You got to be so good to get that. So the standard of musicianship required for professional musicians is so high. So, and I think they have it. That's what I'm saying. Like even if they started their own band and they didn't do it through, you know, going to music school or something, like they have it. Like they're very talented. So this is only two things I've heard. I listened to the entire 30 minutes on live and then I lost the video. So again, I'm upset, but I liked it. But Phish is weird and nerdy and quirky and was for the time. Again, the 90s was like a different time and it was, you know, MTV, like it was just a different time. It's hard to explain. But for today, I think this band can bring some people in through their songs that are accessible, because most people can listen to their songs and be like, yeah, that's easy to listen to. Not everyone can sit through a jam. Not everybody likes it. I mean, when I'm listening to it, I'm listening to all the cells, right? And all the like, what are they doing with the harmony and what are the scales they're using and are they in harmony or are they in dissonance? You know, like I'm listening for all that stuff. And what's the structure? Because they actually structured their jam very organized. Like it was a very organized jam. Just like I said in a different video, in classical music, there's like sonata form that has a certain form. A lot of classical music is like an A, B, A. So it means there's like an A section, then there's a B section, then you repeat the A section. So I felt their jam followed like a very specific, like, this is the quiet section. This is the part with the like ethereal vibes. This is the part where we're going to start to like build. This is the part where we're going to like feature the guitar. This is the part where then we're going to all come together, you know? So I felt it was like a very structured jam, which is cool. I think for the people who are just like there to like just enjoy the vibes and like the lights and like the loud guitars, I think it's very nice. I'm sure it's very lovely. And I mentioned in the other video that I recorded and lost that Goose is coming in 3 weeks to San Francisco on May 25th and 26th. Well, whatever. I'm seeing them on the Tuesday night after Bottle Rock, whatever that is. I bought a ticket for GA, the floor. The Wednesday night was actually sold out for GA. It's like resale, and I don't want to pay over retail right now. And they still had seats in the balcony, but I'm like, I'm not going to a Goose show and sitting in a assigned seat. Like, please, I belong in the floor. So my plan is I do want to listen to a few more Goose things before I go to the concert. I'm open-minded about it. I'd say so the funny thing is what I ended up liking about Phish is the nerdy part of it. Like, I liked that they're weird and like just what, like Harry Hood about like a milk, like what, like I love that. I love that all their songs are just, not all, but like a lot of the Phish songs are just so obscure and like different and like nerdy. And I actually like that. That's actually what made me like Phish. It wasn't the rock. It wasn't the jams. It wasn't that. Because I'm not into like per se like, oh, I love loud guitars or I love rock and roll. I don't really like rock and roll. I mean, I like rock and roll, but I'm not like a classic rock person, you know? Like, I enjoy all music. So it wasn't the rock that brought me into Phish. It was the weirdness and like their jazz influence. And so this band so far, I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing very commercial songs that could be very appealing to the masses, and then very good jam skills. So I'd say it's a different appeal. And they look like rock stars. So if I was like a young girl, I mean, I'm not that old, but like I've never been into rock stars just personally, and I've never liked guys with long hairs or long beards. The only kind of beard I like is like Riker from The Next Generation. You know, that was a nice trim beard. I like that. But I've never been into like mustaches or like big beards or anything like that. So like these guys are kind of like, they don't have a haircut. They're wearing like hipster clothes. They look like, you know, kind of homeless or hipster. We don't know, you know. So, but I think that's the good aesthetic. That's really cool. So I do think that it's like, wow, Goose, they're so cool. Like, they're awesome. Like, these guys are cool, you know. Whereas like Phish, no one ever thought Phish was cool. Like, they're not. They're weird nerds. But I like weird nerds, if that makes sense. So what I liked about Phish is not present in Goose. So I think, but I could be wrong. But I do think they're both, I see where they have the similarity in the jam. Some of my favorite Phish jams, though, have been ones that have been so whack. Like, literally, you're like, these people must have done acid. I've never done acid, but I'm just assuming, like, the way they're like, you're like, this must have been some weird acid trip. Because, like, it doesn't make sense. This jam was a lot more structured, like I said. It made sense to me. I was like, oh, okay. And they didn't ever, there was, like, a tiny little sections where they went a little bit, like, dissonant. And this is showing the waves clashing. But it was never to the point where I was like, I'm lost. I don't know what's going on. I've lost everything. I have no idea, right? And then they came back in the end to a nice finish, kind of like a big, strong, like rock metal, maybe. Like, it just sounded like very strong and loud, and they made such nice big sound. So again, maybe they're both tea. Their genre is both tea, but one of them is green tea and one of them is black tea, you know, like one of them is mint and one of them is chamomile. I don't know. So I think they were great. I just, so far, again, it took me a few Phish songs to get into it. Like after the first one, I was like, what the F? And then it took me like, I think the 5th Phish song I listened to, I was like, oh, I'm getting it. And then by the 15th one, I was like, oh, I like it. And then by the time I went to the concert, I was like, I really like Phish, you know? So I think with Goose, I just need to listen to more stuff. I'm open-minded about it. I don't dislike them, but so far, I couldn't really understand what they were saying in the words, and they didn't have subtitles on the subtitles on YouTube didn't work, so I couldn't understand their lyrics. So I was kind of like, I wasn't really connecting to the songs. It's possible that the song lyrics are super cool and meaningful, and if that's the case, great. I would love a song that's deep and meaningful, and that like I feel, and then I'm like, wow, that's so deep, you know. So let me know if there's something like that, that is, you know, because like when I listened to Billy Strings, I cried. Okay, when I listened to this 726 or whatever, when I listened to this song, I did not cry. That's just like a basic progression. like, okay. I mean, I like the doo-doo-doo bells, fine. But again, I was just not like, wow, this first song, I'm like, I'm ready to cry and like call my friends that I need to reconcile with. Like, it didn't do anything like that for me. I was like, this is kind of commercial. Maybe, again, I don't know. I have to be a critic, okay? This is what I do. But he does sing with passion. I'll give him that. You know, like he has talent. And I'm a singer, you know. I'm a trained singer and voice teacher. He's a good voice. Like, and he's connecting to his words. Like when he's saying them, you can see he's feeling the emotion. And that is an important thing as a performer that I wouldn't say that Trey or Mike have in Phish. Okay. So I'm going to give credit where credit is due. This is a person who is a frontman. I just didn't think the song was that particularly special. And then this next song, what is this, blues? Something. It's just like very, again, it sounded like one way or another to me. It was fine. I don't really know what the words are about. I didn't feel any connection to the song. It was fine. It was fun. It was good vibes. It was like happiness, whatever. But I wasn't like, oh, let me like listen to this tomorrow in my car when I'm driving, you know, which is fine. I'm not saying that's what I need, but I really did like the jam. So strangely, the thing I used to hate about Phish, which was the jams, I now like the most about Goose. Maybe I'm just liking jams more, but I am going to go to the concert, so I'm going to be open-minded, and I do need to listen to more things. So please recommend to me, what are their best songs? Like, what are songs that you're like, this song, and like, it changed my life, and the words, you know, reminded me of my sister, whatever. Like, I want the songs that move you, if that is what they have. Now, if it's just more that their songs are basic and accessible and like generally like mediocre, but they have good jams, that's okay too. I just want to know what the whole deal is. Is it because they're such good performers? That's what makes it good? Like, because he's a good singer and they give a show and they jam well together? Is that what it is? I just need to know what it is that like does it for people, that they're like, this band is better than Phish. And like, I just want to know. And I would love to be able to experience that, or to come to that conclusion, or to feel like that I can see why you think that. Because I do like to understand how things make other people feel. All right. So alas, if you want to request a reaction video, message me, comment on any of my videos, send a Cash App. Yeah, I'm open to anything. It doesn't have to be a jam band. Doesn't even have to be music. I'll react to a TV show. I don't care. Yeah, I think this worked out better because on the other video that I lost, I literally watched the entire thing then I lost it. So there was no need to really watch it. You guys can watch this whole thing on your own. But I did point out the parts that I thought were interesting about the jam, and that I do think they are talented. And again, they look like hipsters. Like, look at that beanie, the red jacket or shirt. We have Davy Crockett on the drums. We have flannel shirt. And then we have like Mr. Bassist, too cool for school with the sunglasses. Either he hates the bright lights, or he's hungover, or he's on drugs. But either way, or he's just too cool for school. But yes, they look like rock stars. I could see the appeal in terms of like, oh my God, they're rock stars, you know? But yeah, the actual composed pieces, meh. The jam, I rate it very high. I rate it like B+, like pretty good. I never give out A's, okay? But I mean, it's very good. So tell me what I should be listening to. What will change my mind? What will skew my opinion on Goose? Or that will help me enjoy their concert more. Or maybe once I experience the concert, I'll feel the same way, that like, I get it now. That's what I felt about Phish. All right, until next time on Erica Reacts. See you next time.